And it was a long dream for Bengali people here to have their own MP, Bengali MP, and how we were going to fulfill that dream.
Well, first of all, this area is incredibly diverse with a great, rich tradition and history. You know, a tradition of different waves of migration, from the Huguenots to the Jewish community to the Muslim community to the Irish community, the Bangladeshi Muslim community, and others, including the Somali community. Many waves of migration, alongside a settled white population, white working class families who've been here for a long time, and they also have a very proud history. You know, they are the generation, you know, particularly the elderly white residents who I meet, they're the post-war generation. As a constituency MP, if I get elected, my duty of responsibility will be to the whole community, and to everybody from different backgrounds.
Yeah, as MP,
yes.
You know, you should represent
absolutely.
the whole.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and
including, you know, I hope I will get as many votes as possible from everybody, but also to those who may not decide to support me, but I hope they will.
And recently, you visited Bangladesh. What was your main, experience and feeling about that visit, and how you connect that visit with this,
government, the Labour government has provided a lot of support in the form of international development aid to Bangladesh since it's been in power in 1997. I, as an assistant in Parliament, lobbied with my then boss, who was a Labour MP, to try and get more funding and aid support from Claire Short's department, the International Development Department, for Bangladesh. So aid to Bangladesh has doubled in the time Labour hasn't been in power, because we are absolutely committed to that connection and to supporting Bangladesh to thrive. The other thing that's happened in Bangladesh is that Bangladesh has the most investment from the UK. The UK is one of the biggest investors in business terms to Bangladesh. That investment is coming from British businesses, the major banks, and a number of other business leads, but also from increasingly, and I'm really pleased about this, increasingly from the British Bangladeshi community, and people of my generation, the younger generation, are also taking an interest in investing in Bangladesh, and I think that's really powerful and important, and because we are now
two countries also working on climate change issues.
Yes, I was going to come on to that. So Bangladesh is at the forefront of the climate change agenda. As a country, it is likely to suffer the most with the challenge of climate change, and so one of the issues I've been campaigning on, both in terms of UK government departments, but also making sure that people in Bangladesh have an opportunity to lobby the British government, and linking people up together. Britain and Bangladesh have always had a very strong relationship with each other, and that dates back to the period of Bangladesh's independence and the struggle towards independence. The Labour Party and its relationship with Bangladesh is absolutely enormous. The strength of feeling between the Labour Party and the people of Bangladesh is phenomenal, and the reason for that is because, in part credit to people like the late Peter Shaw, who was the MP for Bethnal Green Bow, who was there at that moment when British Bengalis were fighting for their independence in 1971. I remember my father telling me stories of how the late Peter Shaw had his house open for people to come in, and see him, because their families were in danger, or during the war, family members were killed, and the suffering that had happened, and it's in particular those periods when the Labour Party spoke out, and other politicians did as well in the other parties. And so that affinity and strength of feeling has always been there ever since that period.
As you know, there is a 5 Bengali candidate in this area, and you are one of the Bengali candidate. As a voter, why should I vote for you? There is another 4 Bengali candidate. What's the difference between you and other Bengali candidate, and how you serve this Bengali community?
Yeah. What's important, I think, is that we bring a perspective as Bengalis, but just as women in Parliament bring a perspective as women in Parliament, and it's richer as an institution to have diversity, gender, ethnicity, ethnic diversity, religious diversity in terms of people's origins. That's about bringing perspective. That's only one element of representation. The other element, and significant element, is about making sure that people look at what you can offer as a party. You know, this country's political system and many countries operate on the basis of party systems, which is a really important way of governing, that you associate, you look at what a political party can offer. So what I would say is that people should look at what my party, what the Labour Party can offer this community in Bethnal Green Bow. And what the Labour Party has done in the last 13 years since it's been in government is it has invested in health, in education, in housing, in making sure communities are safe through community safety and policing.
Do you have any message
and in Tower Hamlets, investment has gone up
over
the last. My message to the voters is that I hope that they will first of all look at what I can offer, and what I would say is that I have I grew up here in this area. I've always worked for this community, establishing local projects, Tower Hamlets Summer University, Language Line, being a board of governor, a governor member of Tower Hamlets College, having studied at Tower Hamlets College myself, and I've also worked in government, in the Home Office as well as the Foreign Office, on issues that affect this community, as well as on national policy issues. So I've got the mix of experience, and I've got the commitment and commitment to really work hard for this area and do everything I can to make sure we have a strong voice in Parliament. That's what we need. That's what people want, have said they really, really want for our community, and for Bethnal Green Bow. That's what's been missing over recent years. And I think that what I would say is that this is our chance to increase representation and voice for this community, this area, but also it's an opportunity to make sure that we can engage people in politics, in the political process. And I hope that I hope that people will look at what I have to offer and will support me. And my commitment is that I will always work hard for this community and make sure that we unite as a community, and we work together for the best interests of everybody who lives in this area, from not only from the Bangladeshi community but in the wider community, because that's one of our great strengths here in Bethnal Green Bow and Tower Hamlets, that we're a diverse, vibrant, talented and amazing group of people here living in the East End of London, and I think it's one of the most, one of the greatest privileges of being a candidate seeking to be an MP for this area. It's one of the most exciting, interesting, vibrant, amazing places in this country. And I want the country to see us through that lens, in that light, not in a negative, divisive light. Because that's what people... that's how people want to be seen, because that's who we are. We are an amazing place.